So what's going on YouTube and y'all squad? This your boy Yakartee. This your review for The Real Housewives of New Jersey. I forgot to write down the season. I believe that I'm more than sure this is episode 3, more than sure. Nevertheless, this is the review and we're jumping into it. Alright, right now I am more than halfway through the episode, but I decided to pause it and talk about this right here, what I have before digging any deeper. So just stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. So we have Dolores. There's house talk. All so her and her two children are in the townhouse. Good to know. She lets us know that Frankie Sr. is coming home, meaning that he's going to move in. We find out later on in the episode that in the divorce, Dolores got the house and that Frankie Sr. had to pay it off, which I didn't mention the last episode, but when she said that I'm living in this townhouse and I don't have a mortgage so I can afford to be over here, all right, Dolores. Gabby isn't here for it, and Gabby is assertive, but we also find out with that being the case, and she ain't here for the ish, that Frankie Jr. is more standoffish, and Gabby wants to set boundaries. And I know for most people it would be your child, this, that, and the third. Here's the reality: they are all adults. Now, are the children grown? No, they're not. But are they adults? Yes, they are. And if all four of them are going to be living under the same roof, yes, there should be some, hey, let's establish some boundaries, especially if Frankie Sr. isn't paying any bills. Now, we know the kids ain't paying bills. But if Frankie ain't paying no bills, Frankie really can't have nothing to say. And at the end of the day, it's all about just mutual respect. So I don't see a problem with it. Now, the delivery, yes, that can be a thing. But hey, we can agree to disagree until something further develops. That's all I'm going to say about that. We have Teresa, and it's really not Teresa, but we found out that Gia has a sweatshirt line and boutiques from the little song that she did so many seasons ago. Louis wants the whole family to have like a little pizza night to, kind of like get past where everything is. Melania isn't having it. Now we have Joe B, which is Marge's husband, Joe G, Gorga, who is Melissa's husband, and Frankie Sr. Now, at this particular luncheon, we do not have Bill. I'm trying to figure out who else are we missing. Actually, and we don't have Evan. We don't have Evan. So neither one of them are there. Louis isn't married to Teresa, so that's why he's not there. Frankie Sr. says that Dolores was the perfect wife and is the perfect wife. But rather than stand in his own and say, I cheated because of this and this and this, she was a perfect wife. Because what he was trying to say is she was a perfect wife. There was nothing wrong with her. I stepped out and I made the mistake. But rather than truly own it, he pretty much said, well, men, we're just animals. And this is his way to explain away the cheating that he did. And that's not right. That's not right. What you meant to say is we're naturally not monogamous, and you didn't want to be monogamous, and you didn't know that you had a good thing until you messed it up. And then when she decided to let you go, then that's when you had to sit here and look back and realize I had a good thing and I messed it up. Probably along those lines, but we're not going to sit here and excuse away bad behavior from no gender. We won't excuse bad behavior, not over here. Let's see. And then he also brings up that there's supposed to be a family meeting. We'll see if that comes to fruition. They talk about Bill and Jen, whatever. Joe rehashes what happened between him and Gia. We already discussed that, so moving forward. And then, they do a toast to Louis, because, Frankie Jr. is working with Louis doing real estate, so thank God for him. So we got Jackie and Evan. This is going to be a little, some of y'all going to be mad at me, but whatever. Y'all know I like Jackie. Oh, good. Hold on. I'm sorry. Had to sit here and you clear my throat. Y'all know I deal with phlegm a lot. And it's starting to build back up. Great. So we have Jackie and Evan. They don't have any kids. They are talking about making dinner plans over the course of the next 2 weeks. Pretty much trying to get that spark back, reimagining how life was before they had children. Because if I'm not mistaken, they have 2 sets of twins. So that's a lot going on there. They talk about being in fraternities and sororities. That talk. And then Jackie wants to have, like a sorority fraternity party. So that's going to come up towards the latter part of the episode. Jackie talks about her eating disorder and how she's in recovery but feels that she might relapse, and like last year really did a number on her, and she is aware that she doesn't eat, that she monitors what she does and doesn't, excuse me, intake. She also said that she came out early that day because that would encourage her not to eat. Evan mentions, okay, well, the children know. And Jackie's just like, well, how do they know? And here's a newsflash to everybody: your children know more than you think they do. They may not say everything, they may not express everything, and it also comes from a place of hierarchy when dealing with parents, to where there's this whole thing of, I'm your parent, I'm an adult, I'm this, I'm that, you're here. It's very Matilda, like, I'm big, you're small, I'm right, you're wrong, that whole type of thing. So, oh gosh, really, seriously, now I gotta say it. Nevertheless, I'm sorry, got distracted ever so slightly, whatever. But that came up because Evan revealed, like, hey, the kids know. And she's afraid to relapse. Evan recommends that she sees someone, and Jackie is on board with it. Now, I'm gonna just be all the way 1,000. I'm not. I'm not diminishing what she's going through. I am most definitely not, because I can see the pain there. But part of me also feels like we're heightening this as a storyline to take all the attention off of Evan, because we couldn't do all of that last season. But I really hope that this isn't the fact and this isn't the case. But I really do want for Jackie to get the help that she needs, because for her to even say that she does these little things to not eat, and Evan talks about her journaling what she is and what she isn't eating, the last thing that she wants to do is put herself into a true deficit, because then your body is going to attack itself, because typically when you're in a state of hunger and whatnot, if there's any fat in the body, that's what the body goes after. And because she's pretty much bone thin, her body might then begin to attack itself, and then she might be in the state that she can't come back from. So I really want her to get the help that she needs. We get, oh, and also Jackie is inviting the girls to her party, but we only get a scene with her talking to Jen, whatever. We get Teresa. We find out that Louis is a good communicator and all the other stuff, and that's probably because of the retreat that he did so many years back that everybody is sitting here bashing him for. Whatever. He wants the family to embrace self-help. Now, here's the one thing that I will say, though that is a great thing, and though this was a semi-positive outcome, which kind of leads me to believe that a lot of this is stunting for a storyline. Nevertheless, and again, Melissa and Joe Gorga ain't against it, but I'm also one of those that is, we all want the best for people, and not everyone has the tools to provide certain help to individuals. Because you get some people where it's like they get to break it down and crying to somebody and they get nothing back, and it's because that person doesn't have the tools to give you exactly what you need. Like, they're being there in the capacity that they can. And then also, you never want to sit here and open up a can. You don't want to open up Pandora's box without an effective plan to put a lid on it. Luckily for Louis, that wasn't the case, and this went smoothly, but I was a little bit concerned because he wasn't even being a mediator, which sometimes you need to let things play out, but you also need to know when to intervene, cut things off, whatever. Nevertheless, Teresa surprises the girls with Joe and Melissa being in. I think it was more or less her surprising Melania. Teresa's going to miss Jackie's party because, if I'm not mistaken, I think she said Melania is the one that has a sports event to do or dance, whatever. She is upset about the whole Marge and Jen thing. Like, how is it that what I did I got crucified for, but Marge did the same thing? We're not rehashing that. Louis wants them to bring up one thing that they want to bring to them and something that they want to let go. Teresa, wants to bring loyalty to her, and Louis says, and what about judgment? Now, I found that to be very interesting, because it's like, okay, you kind of messing up your meal ticket here, but again, you do need people in your life that are going to call you out on things. and address certain things with you. Now, doing it in front of the cameras, not so sure, but whatever. Melania pretty much addresses Joe, and her whole thing is she wants to let go of thinking what will happen next, but she wants to bring to her that nothing will happen next. And it was funny because Melania had a whole lot of mouth at Gia's little hoodie shirt thingamajiggy, but you don't really have a whole lot, and you don't have the words and the vocabulary. Then we get Gia with another confessional trying to sit here and rationalize what her sister is going through. Yet Melania doesn't have the confessional, and then Melania is the one with the problem because her and Joe squashed their issues last episode. Joe apologizes. That's that on that. Melissa wants to invite the girls to the shore house. So it appears that after this fraternity sorority event, that's going to be the very next thing to come up. Now, one thing I do want to say is Jackie has made me fall in love with her all over again. Because I've always been Team Jackie, and it has nothing to do with the fact that she's Jewish and I'm Jewish. Not the case. It's the fact that she is willing to sit here and stand in her ish and say what she has to say. I'm all here for it. Because last season, and even other seasons, but last season she went toe to toe with Teresa. This season, as of right now, she's going toe to toe with Dolores. But let me not get ahead. So we're now at Dolores' part here. And I have Tracy up here. And I want to go ahead and mention Tracy because I have her in the top right corner because that's all the hell she's going to get off my notes. I want to say this before I forget. Tracy, I'm going to need for you to go ahead and have a seat in the FUQ section. Okay, I'm going to need for you to stop talking. I'm going to need for you to find some business. And the fact that even though you were given a confessional, you are still a friend of the show. And obviously, you do not give enough to deserve a permanent spot as a friend. And this whole thing of you wanting to sit here and be on Jen's side, which you have every right to be. I want to preface that because I'm going to get to it momentarily. But she's going down this whole rabbit hole of how she doesn't understand how Melissa is going at her and all this other stuff. Now, here's the reality. Melissa is your quote-unquote friend of 10 years. You just met Jen. Now, you are trauma bonded with Jen because of the simple fact of what she's going through. Now, she was not the mistress, but you were. Her husband, what is a male mistress? The husband was the, was the, was the ho, 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 Merry Christmas. You were the mistress. So you're trying to connect with her on that regard, and you can sit here and rewrite history all that you want, but we all know the truth. And it would be different if you just stood in your ish, but what is funny to me is, see, I don't like people like you. I really don't. Now, here's the thing. I was here for Melissa for many a season. These last couple seasons, man. But nevertheless, I don't like someone that is willing to sit here and throw a 10-year friendship off. Just throw it away. And sit here and trauma bond with somebody else. I don't like that. And you're not somebody to be trusted. And I'm going to just keep it a buck. I am never want to sit here and come with somebody's paycheck, but I don't want her back next season. I really don't. And Melissa, I hope you tell her a brand new fourth point of contact at the reunion. But back to Manuka, that's all she going to get from me. Because it ain't nothing else that I need to say. Again, I haven't been addressing Tracy because you're a friend. And if a friend of the show gives me something to talk about, I'll talk about. But again, I ain't talking about her. And it seems like her husband, Tiki, is a pick-me. A token. I said what I said. So anyway, with the party. Marge, we got Marge. Dolores is confirming. Because Marge had talked about Joe's nether regions and sizes and whatnot. Marge says Dolores confirmed it. There was a little ha-ha, he kiki, and, making Jorgoga's head bigger than what it needs to be. I also want to say that pretty much everybody had their respective others there. We'll get to Dolores in a minute. Marge feels Jen should come here and apologize. She feels she's on an apology. Now, Jack's just like, you ain't finna get that. But I felt like this was more coming from a space of, positions on the show. I think that's where that was coming from, but I could be wrong. Tracy says there is no limit on crying. And you know, feeling bad about something or whatever, she's absolutely right. And what is interesting is a lot of us, we tend to hold on to things that happened to us years ago in our childhood. And if some of us actually did the work and, you know, really went deep within, be in a room by ourselves with the silence and let our innermost parts speak, we would see that a lot of how we deal with people is from past traumas. And when you can, and the first part is accepting that you got trauma, understanding what the trauma was, and then working to move past it or working to not let it affect you currently. Because you got those people to be like, oh, this happened to me because of da 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 da. And it's just like, understand your trauma, understand your emotional baggage, but that don't give you the right and the carte blanche to sit here and talk to me crazy. Just saying. Just saying. But nevertheless, but yeah, she has every right to feel that way. But I heard through the grapevine that Jen is allowing this to be her storyline because apparently, allegedly, Bill had recently stepped out not that long ago, so she would rather have this be her storyline than that. Again, that's alleged. I ain't got no proof of it. Alleged. Nevertheless, Bill and Jen joined. I also forgot to mention that Dolores came with Frankie Sr. We found out that David and Dolores are no longer together. She says that he's married to his job. And guess what? You knew that. You knew that. I'm going to keep it all the way 1,000 with you. There are certain professions, if you marry somebody or if you're in a relationship with somebody, no one understands. 9 times out of 10, that profession is going to come first. So a firefighter is one, even though Gertie is making it work with her boo thing on Miami. But you got that. So you have firefighter. You have military. Because that's one of those where you're on the job 24/7. You may not be working 24/7, but you on call 24/7. And they want to call you in, they can't. I was aviation, and we had certain, you know, sleep rest periods. Some of that still got infringed on. I'm just saying. But and even in doctors, big one. And some of them are on call too. So you have to understand. And it's not making an excuse for the other person, but if you get into a relationship with somebody that has a very demanding job, you have to understand what is coming with that. And that's not me giving David a pass. No. Because if this is something that you want, you can make things work. You can cut back on hours. You can, and especially if you have your own practice, you make your own schedule. Nevertheless, moving on. She also talked about life-changing decisions and what if something happened to me and all this other stuff. And I think we had this discussion on a previous video. Long story short, even though you're not married to, no, it was actually, was it Miami? It was Miami. You can still do a power of attorney if it's that serious, even if you don't want to get married. There's ways to work around this thing where you don't necessarily have to be married to somebody. And here's the other part. People be married with life insurance policies and everything else. And, I have the option to resuscitate. Ooh, this life insurance policy is for $2 million. Yeah, no, don't resuscitate. Just go ahead and let them die. Tell me I'm lying. Moving forward. So Jen mentions to Dolores that Jackie said that she pretty much wasn't being that good to her, wasn't being a good friend to her. I was very upset about this because, again, there's 6 women on this show, right? And you have Jackie, Melissa, and Marge on one team. You have Teresa and Dolores on another team. And then you have Jen floating in the middle. Now you just got Jackie back on your side, and now here you are at her event throwing her under the bus. And if this is something that you felt needed to be said, you could have talked to production and said that you wanted to have a luncheon with Dolores so y'all could hash this out. Again, I understand reality show, they're taping, moment, let's have it, explosive. I get all of that. But I'm just saying, if you're trying to protect the friendship, which you're not, and she was saying, well, I don't want to throw Jackie under the bus. You just did. Now, when it comes to Jackie, I don't think I said this in the last review, but I was looking at Jackie crazy because once you found out that she was going behind your back, digging up dirt on your husband right then, I would have flipped the script and been like, oh, this is for... Also, I'll be honest, that would have been my whole, oh, this is not my storyline. I'm about to sit here and wear you the hell out for this whole season. But nevertheless, that's not what happened. Jackie comes over and she's standing 10 toes down, and this is why I like Jackie. Jackie stands 10 toes down. She not gonna sit here, she not gonna backpedal, and Pooh Nanny Pop, okay? She gonna sit here, she gonna put her pocketbook on the table, and in essence, low key giving us a I said what I said, because she said, yeah, I said that, and I meant that, and this is why. I'm like, well, come the hell on, Jackie. I was just like, oh, all right, come on, Jackie, I'm here for it. So then all the girls come around, because again, when moments like this happen, they need to be there because they need to be in the scene. We talking about this right here, and they not only do they want the tea, but they want to insert themselves again. Though, because if you're there and you're not contributing anything, they can easily cut you out of the scene, and you won't get paid for the episode, especially if you ain't gave nothing the whole episode. Just saying, and I got me a backup. Y'all know I'll be ready. So Marge is there, and it's the whole thing of Dolores trying to defend, like, I'm a friend of both of y'all. Marge's like, you're more of a friend to me than you are to her. I'm like, you know what, Marge gonna work for this chick. Marge said, I'm here. I done clocked in. I done had me a few cocktails on the house. Yeah, you a better friend to me than her. So then Dolores says, Jen, do I support you or not? Jen says that I need more. So with that being said, rather than throw Jackie under the bus, she could have easily said to Dolores, like, I've been doing some reflecting, some talking to friends, family, this, that, and the third. And I just feel like in this relationship, this friendship between you and I feel like I need more from you and I'm not getting it. See how easy that is? But no, we're going to throw Jackie up under the bus. And then you had Dolores say, I don't need to hear it from this. And that this was Jackie. Jackie wasn't here for, like, you ain't finna call me this. I ain't finna be this. Now, my DVR stopped recording because, like I said, I share services with, my mother. Like I said, I'm on the second floor. She's on the first floor. It is what it is. And something else was recording, so it interrupted. So I could not get the last piece, but I am more than sure it's going to pick up on the next episode. And again, y'all know I love me some Jackie. I do. And y'all better not say nothing bad about Jackie. Not over here. We will not accept Jackie slander. No, we won't. But that is it for episode 3. I believe this is season 16. But if it's not, again, it'll be in the description and the title. So thank you all so much for watching. I'm glad that you all were here. Hopefully you enjoyed my banter and all the other stuff. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will, see you all for the next video, which is either going to be Girls Trip. No, I'm going to try to do Girls Trip tomorrow and then do Miami Thursday. Do it that way. And if Orange County gives me something tomorrow, I'll give it to you. Because, look, I can do all of the last couple episodes of Orange County in one episode. It ain't giving nothing. It's really not. And I don't know, and I'm pretty sure, if I didn't say this already, if I already said this about Pokemon Legends Arceus Click Off, but I've been so enthralled in that since it came out. It's been 2 weeks, and I'm at a point now to where I can kind of taper off because I got, I got 3 more legendaries to catch, and it's the Weather Tree. I've already caught 1 out of the 4. It is hard. They are difficult, let me tell you, and then it's the actual boss of the actual whole game. So I'm at a point to where I can taper myself off. So I'm kind of backing off a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and get caught up for you all and also for my sake. But that's it. That's all I got. So please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. I will see you all for the next video. I love you all, and y'all have a blessed day. Peace.